Hola, desde Rock and Pop les traemos una entrevista con Joey y Anthony Russo, los directores de la película El Estado Eléctrico.
Hi,
Hi,
Camilla.
how was I saying? I'm Camila from Rock and Pop Chile, and I'm very excited to be here. And I'm going to interview you about the movie The Electric State.
Wonderful.
So the first question is, The Electric State explores a dystopian future where humans and robots live together. What inspired you, Joe, to create the post-war world we can see in the movie?
I mean, it's the idea that came from the book. The thing that was most exciting to us was the theme of it. You know, this sort of interplay between humans and technology, and the level of addiction that he portrays in the book. It would seem like an interesting world to build a story in. Our interpretation of it has a much broader appeal. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's also heartbreaking, and hopefully it gives you some big ideas to think about when the movie's over. But that's really what excited us most about it, was when we looked at the images, how sort of impactful and profound they were.
Okay. So continuing about the images you were talking, the movie is inspired in the 90s with an aesthetic that combines retro and science fiction. So I wanted to ask to Anthony, how did you manage to combine both elements that are so different but they look good in the movie?
The two elements being the retro and
Yes,
what else?
retro and science fiction.
Science fiction. Oh yeah. Well, that was look at Joe and I have always said, like, part of our process as creators has always been taking disparate ideas, different ideas, things that seem incongruous, and then smashing them into one another and seeing what that creates, what that does. So the thing that certainly tickled us here was combining this idea of, like, something that is very familiar, something that actually happened, a piece of history that's recognizable, and then taking something that is completely the opposite of that and smashing it together, something that didn't happen, but pushing it into a time period that that was well documented. So that the strangeness of that was what was really exciting to us. And I think what it does on a storytelling level is it sort of makes it feel accessible and close to home and relatable, while at the same time pushing you into a realm that exists solely in fantasy and goes beyond our real world. And it's the combination of that. That's the kind of epic storytelling we like to play with generally is in that sweet spot that I'm describing.
Yes. So talking about the familiarity you were talking, I wanted to ask to Joey, how did you work with Millie, who plays Michelle, so she could make their relationship with the robot so natural and familiar?
I mean, we gave her actors on set to work with who are in motion capture costumes who are portraying those robots so that she could have, a real sensitive performance with them. It's a unique way to ask an actor to work, and most of the movie is spent acting opposite motion capture actors. But I think she's fantastic in the movie, and I think it was a really fun and different experience for her.
So the next question is about the robots that play a fundamental role in the movie. According to that, do you see robots as a threat or victims of humans?
Well, look at we like ambiguity in storytelling, and certainly it's a bit complicated. These robots were created as service robots, robots that were supposed to be non-threatening to human beings, so supposed to be helpful to human beings, and supposed to sort of serve human beings in various ways, whether that be like entertaining us or doing something practical like delivering the mail or etc. And then these robots started to develop ideas about their own autonomy. And then when they develop those ideas, some of those ideas come in conflict with the designs that human have on them. So in that sense, they're very empathetic, because I think all of us just innately as people want things, if they have a consciousness, to have a sense of autonomy, to have a sense of self-fulfillment. But at the same time, maybe the robots expressed their need for that in ways that were difficult and challenging and even violent at times. And that sort of cause them to go into a cycle of conflict with humans. There are versions of the robots in the movie that we encounter later that we call scavengers or scavs, which are sort of robots that are just trying to survive, and they end up sort of attacking other robots just for spare parts to keep themselves whole and functioning. So we try to explore the same range of humanity within the robots that exist within humans themselves. There are good humans and there are bad humans. There are good robots and there are bad robots.
Yes. So, talking also about that message, I wanted to ask, what do you think is the final message of the movie, considering the AI and the autonomy of the robots are a principal topic of the film?
I mean, the message of the film is that, we're not trying to demonize technology. We're just trying to suggest that perhaps a healthy relationship to it is the most important thing you could do, is use it in balance. It has a lot of positives, and it has an incredible amount of negatives. And there are some companies out there right now whose revenue is based on forced addiction to technology. And we're especially concerned about our children who use this technology every day and how that's going to impact them, their mental health, and ultimately their futures. So, the film is really about, look, there's a ton of positives, there's a ton of negatives. Try to take a path where you stay connected to other people, and that's going to be the right path.
Yes. So, changing a bit the topic of the questions, I wanted to ask if there was a favorite part to film, if you have any funny anecdotes or something that was difficult to film, maybe working, creating the robots or something like that.
Anybody? I mean, Millie had a hard time keeping a straight face with Chris Pratt, but everybody has a hard time keeping a straight face with Chris Pratt. So there might have been more than
I imagine the
one
answer was
ruined
going to
thing.
be something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we did an outtakes reel of Millie laughing at Chris, and it's 3 minutes long.
I think that's the answer I was waiting.
Okay, great.
So the final question I have is something more similar to what I do. I work in a radio, Rock and Pop Chile, and I wanted to ask you, what will be your favorite song to fight against the robots?
Favorite song?
Yes.
Probably Don't Stop Believing. Really represents the robots.
Yeah.
Right?
That and Wonderwall. It's sort of like just this idea of like infinite possibilities.
Yes, that was the interview. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much.